If we get above 1 million cases, Richard, we're really talking about reversing all the great things that have been happening on the continent for the last 10, 15 years. You know, over 5.5% growth rate even during the period of 2008 to 2013. What we're talking about is a fundamental crisis throughout the continent if we don't get this under control in these 3 countries within the next weeks to months. We think that we can get services, both prevention of spread and treatment, to every village. And that's what we have to do. This is going to be so difficult. It's the most difficult, the most massive, the most complex thing that I've ever been involved in. And I've been involved in, frankly, some of the most complex things we've ever tried in global health. But we have no choice. If we don't do it, we're really talking about a catastrophe that's both human and in many other ways as well, especially economic.
The President of the United States made it clear that the US was prepared to do its part and was prepared almost to lead in many ways, but the US couldn't do it on its own. So what are we now lacking in terms of putting together this plan? Is it a coordinating leadership role by an organization?
Well, we do have that. I mean, I think the UN mission, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, has essentially applied the peacekeeper security emergency model to health. It's the first time that they've ever done this. What we need is to bring in the kind of health workers from other places in Africa. We need to re-employ the workers who've now abandoned their posts in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. And we also need to bring in a special breed of physician and nurse, people who have implemented complex, difficult health interventions in poor settings. And having been involved in them, I know that we have literally hundreds of them in Haiti, in Peru, in Rwanda, in many other countries that have done these sorts of things. Right. That's the kind of specialization we need.
With your experience, sir, does it feel as if the response is too fragmented?
Well, it is going in a lot of different directions because it needs to go in a lot of different directions. You know, this crisis is so large that it's proven difficult to have a single sort of a general running the whole thing. I think we have a system in place that can work, but everyone now understands that the urgency is to get the prevention capacity and the treatment capacity in every corner of these 3 countries. You know, I spoke with the president of Nigeria, as I mentioned in the UN, and you know, if this happens, if 10,000 cases cross the border and get to the cities of Nigeria, we're talking about a disaster that we may not be able to get under control. And so the urgency is really get the people of Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea to start running toward authority inside those countries. Right now they're running away because there's nothing there to help them.
Obviously, the economic effect on these 3 countries involved is devastating, 10, 15, 20% of GDP. But they are relatively small countries in the sense of as that economic effect ripples out through the continent. How concerned are you?
I'm extremely concerned. We hope that people respond because of the humanitarian needs, but there is self-interest here. Look, if this goes to the point of affecting the entire African continent, nobody will be unaffected. And cases will start exiting the continent and going elsewhere, because right now, if you're a febrile person, if you have a fever and you have diarrhea and you suspect you might have Ebola in one of these countries, the most rational thing for you to do is try to get out of there and get to a place where you can be treated. It's simply the most rational thing to do. We have to now turn it around, so the most rational thing to do is to stay in your country and get treated right where you live. If we can do that, we can get it under control, and that's doable. So if we fail, it's not because, you know, this requires some new technology or new drug. If this fails, it will simply be because we didn't have the will to do it.